Hey y'all, welcome back to My Real California Life. It is Sunday and I'm going to do things a little bit differently today. I thought, you know what? I'm going to do a story time video because I haven't really done that. Sorry y'all, my eyes are itching. And I thought, you know, I'm going to go ahead and do it because I've kind of mentioned little bits here and there. But I'm actually going to go ahead and tell you guys today about my oldest son, who has been in a video. His name's Christopher. He is 19 years old. And basically I'm going to tell you about when he was born. Now, he is what they call a micro preemie, meaning that he was born before 26 weeks gestation. So, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys about that. But I went ahead and I did my makeup today, so I wanted you guys to see. Now, I actually really I did, my mascara is the Wander Beauty that we got in the BoxyCharm, and I do actually have the highlighter on. That was the liquid highlighter that I got as the extra gift for having somebody sign up under my referral code. And then the eyeshadow is the Crown palette. I have the light color on is like the base, and then I have two of the shimmeries. The main one that you can probably see most is the one that's like the rose gold almost, is what I think it looks like, but absolutely beautiful. And I have it underneath also. And then beautiful mascara. It looks wonderful. My lipstick is the beautiful one that I actually got from Ipsy, the beautiful pink one. And then I did have one of my Ipsies. I got the lipstick, the Mellow is the brand, and it's a beautiful bright pink. And then the other Ipsy, I got a lip gloss, and I did have it over it, but it's pretty much gone by now. But it's like I put this on a long time ago, y'all, in all honesty, and it's like still, you know, like my lips are pink, y'all. So okay, we're gonna get on with this. First of all, because I did actually mention a quick little snippet the other day of my, okay, again, no judgment, I know y'all are good. Maybe real quick I'll do, before I start getting all scatterbrained like, woo! Hi, if you're new to my channel, I'm Sandra. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification so you never miss a video. Give us a big old thumbs up, drop a comment down below. Also, I haven't done a recipe video in a while. I need to do that. So if you have any ideas of like what kind of recipe you might want me to do, leave me some ideas, y'all. We do all kinds of videos here. So again, like I do a lot of unboxings, but today, like I said, it's going to be a story time. I do have a whole bunch of stuff coming. Cars are coming. And it should be here. I should have some stuff here tomorrow. I wanted to show y'all, though. Actually, the reason I did the pink was these are actually, if you saw my video yesterday, I got my Fabletics. These are the pink ones that I got previously that I was showing you guys. Super cute. They have the little, I'll show you guys, the little hole design, see, like I was saying. And then this is my tank top from Beautiful Disaster. I absolutely love them. They have the cutest clothes, but that's why I did the pink, you know, was because I was wearing pink today. So that's that. Okay, now, if you've been here, you know that I love you and you guys are amazing, and you guys are just awesome. I mean, I just love you guys so much. You guys have been so supportive and we've grown so fast. You guys are amazing. So I mentioned a little bit the other day about my uneven nostrils. I will show y'all. They're nice and uneven. Now, the reason, I will show you now. If it was just like, okay, if this was over just a little bit, it'd be perfect. See that? Okay. Now, when I was, I think 8, I got a bike for my birthday. And I was basically, long story short, I was riding back from the grocery store. I had bought some candy. I had the plastic bag hanging from my front handlebars. And as I was riding, the plastic bag got stuck in my wheel. And it just like seized up the wheel. And so basically the front wheel locked up and the back of the bike came up over the back of me, and I went face first into the ground and like skid across. So of course my lip actually was like this, you know, down over my teeth, and so it did cut it. I did break my teeth. I can't remember, I'm pretty sure I did break my nose too, but basically what happened was, I'll show you. Okay. I can't even remember what, it's probably, no, they pulled it to this side. So it was in here. So it started up in my nose. I don't know if you guys can even see a scar. Let's see. You can see it goes down right there, and then there's a line that comes down and goes like that. Okay, so basically it went like this. Basically this whole part was ripped away from my nose. My nose and my skin completely ripped away, so that from right here you could see like into my mouth right there through that. So yes, and I was like 4 blocks from my house, and I was by myself, y'all. Like, normally I didn't go to the store myself, but I think it was like I was super excited because I hadn't had my bike that long and I got to go. And so luckily there was a friend that actually happened to come not too far behind me, and a lady heard me too, and she came out. So they ended up like calling my parents or something, you know, and my parents came and got me. Obviously I went to the hospital, and I remember, you know, I had stitches and stuff, but basically when they did it, they pulled this part a little bit too tight, and that's why it's like that. Like, if it was just over, see, if it was just barely over, they'd be like completely even pretty much. But because they pulled it too tight, they're like completely uneven. So that's that. Now, just in case you guys wonder, because I know like when I'm looking back over my videos, because I always look over them before I upload them, even though like I don't edit, but I always look over them just to make sure like nothing happened, there was nothing bad or anything, and I always am like, God, my nose, like, oh, I can't stand my nostrils. So anyways, okay, so Christopher, my oldest, I was 16 years old when I had him. On my 16th birthday, which was December 3rd, 1998, my stomach was like, it was just not feeling too good, but it was like, I wasn't that far along. I was like 25 weeks pregnant. So I was like, okay, basically there were contractions, but they didn't feel like contractions because he was so small. So I remember we called in the doctor after we'd gone out for like a birthday dinner, and we were like, hey, you know, this is what's going on. I'm just kind of feel like my stomach muscles are tightening. And they were like, oh, just go in. Maybe we'll just get it checked just to be on the safe side. So I went in, and they hooked me up and stuff, and they just had me sit in the room, and me and my ex-husband are in the room and stuff. And after about an hour, the doctors, like 3 nurses come running in, and they're like, oh my gosh, do you feel that? And I'm like, no, what? And they're like, you've been having a contraction every 5 minutes for the last hour, and we have to get you out of here because we cannot handle babies born this early, basically. I was in Santa Rosa, and they were like, we have to get you to San Francisco because that's where the NICU is. Now, nowadays it's a whole different thing, but y'all have to think about this. This was almost 20 years ago, and things have changed a whole lot in 20 years, like a whole lot. Most hospitals now can handle babies, and I mean, they save babies so early. It is amazing what they can do. Now, when Christopher was born, they didn't used to even, they wouldn't even really try to save a baby if they were before 26 weeks. It just didn't really happen. So that being said, they sent me to San Francisco. They tried to stop it. There was nothing that they could really do. They couldn't figure out why I was going into labor. They couldn't figure out why they couldn't stop it. And basically they were like, okay, they basically prepared me to have him pass away. They made me like look at like coffins, like little coffins, like basically get ready, because they were like, he's not going to make it. So it was horrible. Like, I was 16 years old. Basically, that's how I spent my 16th birthday. So I was young. I was scared. It was like, are you kidding me? Like, are you guys are really going to do this? So when it got to the point where I had to have him, you guys might not want to hear this, but basically, like, I'd been on bed rest, and they had just let me up that day, and so I got up to go pee, and when I wiped, I was like, something's going on. So I went back out. The nurse comes in, and they were like, oh, by the way, we haven't been basically, they hadn't had my monitor on the right spot all day, so they hadn't realized I'd been having contractions. So when they thought I'd been doing better, in all reality, I was doing worse, and I had gone from 1 centimeter to 5. Anyone who knows anything about babies, you know at 10 centimeters is when you have a baby. 5 centimeters, I'm halfway there, and they're trying to stop it. So now there's nothing they can do. And they're like, okay, we have to send you in for an emergency C-section now. Basically, I was 25 weeks and 5 days. And so they were like, okay, this is the deal. He's not going to cry. You know, he's not you know, basically they were like, right now it's less than a 50% chance that he's going to survive. But they were like, okay, he's not going to cry, but we're not going to let you see him. You know, you're not going to get to hold him, nothing. We're going to take him straight away. So I was like, okay. I mean, there was nothing I could do. I didn't have a choice. So they take us into the room, and there's tons and tons of doctors, because not only am I about to have a baby super duper early, I am also only 16, so I'm already high risk, and I have a heart problem. I have a congenital heart defect that I was born with called pulmonic valve stenosis. So I have all the normal doctors, the high risk doctors, my heart doctors, the premature baby doctors. It's like, oh my goodness, it was just crazy. So at 11:04 at night, Christopher was born. They basically, how I said when I had gone to the bathroom and I had wiped and I felt something, basically he was not big enough to even like break my water, so he had actually pushed the whole water sack, and he was breech too, so he had pushed the whole water sack out all the way to his knees. So it's like he was coming one way or another, whether they delivered him or not. Like, he was like, no, I'm coming, I'm done in here, like that's it, I'm done. Like, I'll cook on the outside. That's what we used to say. Like, he basically wasn't done cooking. So anyways, he was born. I have a really hard time with like anesthesia and stuff like that, so it took a really long time to wear off. So I was not able to see him until I wasn't numb anymore. His dad got to go see him and stuff, and so basically while I'm in the hospital room, this is what his dad brings me. Okay, so these are his feet prints, and I mean, y'all, you can see like, okay, that's my finger. So 2 of my knuckles. You know, normally parents who have babies, you know, like when you do your footprint, their feet take up like this whole thing. So these are his little tiny, tiny feet. So I was so glad that we got this though, because most of the time with preemies, there's just not time to do it. So I was really glad that the nurses did it. And then this. This was his diaper. I mean, obviously not used, you know, but I have a couple of them. But these are the diapers that they use for preemies. I mean, and these are specially made by Pampers, only for the hospitals. But I mean, y'all, like, these are so tiny. And this was actually big on him when he was first born. I mean, y'all, like, look, that's the palm of my hand. Like, parents compared to a normal diaper, you know, like, look how tiny that is. So cute. But I mean, he was tiny, tiny. So he was born. Like I said, they said he wouldn't cry. You know, the first thing they pulled him out, he cried. And they were all like, oh my gosh. So they like held him up real quick like this, because, you know, I had a C-section. So if you have a C-section, you know, they have you behind a curtain and you're like laying down, you can't do anything. So they held him up like this real quick. We got to see him just for a second, and he was like, what? And they couldn't believe, you know, that he cried. They were like, are you kidding me? Like, what's going on? So they also never expected him to be as big as he was going to be, but he was actually 2 pounds, 5.5 ounces, which for being only 25 weeks, 5 days gestation is huge. And they told me that if he would have gone full term, he probably would have been about 12 or 13 pounds, which is like, are you kidding me? So, he was in the NICU for 93 days. He came home on March 11th of 1999, and he was at 3 different hospitals. He was born in San Francisco at UCSF. Now, we lived in Santa Rosa, so we used to drive every day back to San Francisco after his dad got off work to go see him, drive home. On the weekends, we would stay there. It was so hard. So as soon as he was able to be extubated, which is they take him off the breathing machine, then he could be stably transported. Then they moved him to Santa Rosa, and that happened about a month after he was born. It was on January 9th of 1999 they moved him. He was extubated on January 1st. Now, y'all, like, he was born on December 8th, 1998, 5 days after my 16th birthday. I got admitted on my birthday, and then I was in labor for 5 days. Yes, 5 days, y'all. Now, I know people, it's so funny, they're like, I was in labor for 24 hours, I was in labor for 36 hours, and I was like, dude, I was in labor for 5 days, y'all. 5 days. Yes, 5 days. Non-stop contractions, bed rest, can't eat, can't sleep, on magnesium, hot flashes, can't drink water because horrible. Horrible. It's so hard having a baby, especially back then. Like, things are so different now, what they can do. But, okay, so I will show y'all, okay, real quick. I have, obviously, this is like my picture book. So this is him. That is the nurse's hands, just showing how small he was. And you can see there's, you know, a couple of him in his incubator. And then there's me. with him, you can see like, okay, his foot is on my finger, so tiny. Okay, I have a bunch of pictures, so hold on, I'll show you guys. But so the very first time I got to hold him was on Christmas Day of that year. So hold on one sec, y'all. My little one's hollering. One sec. Sorry about that, y'all. Okay, a big piece of information I left out, so I have to tell you. So yes, Christmas was the very first time I got to hold him, but we were able to touch him like when he's in the incubator and stuff. However, because he was so early, like his skin was, it was so crazy because it was basically like see-through. He didn't really have like muscle or anything. So their skin's so delicate too when they're born that early that you can't like rub them or their skin will rub off. So if you touch them, you have to just touch them just like this. And you have to scrub up with certain soaps, like you have to wear a mask, you can't go out there and if you're sick, like there's so many regulations, like with the NICU, especially back then, but it was crazy. So we were able to like touch him, and obviously I sat with him every day and I would just read him books and talk to him and sing to him, and it was just crazy. Now, when he was born too, because he was only 25 weeks and 5 days, they have a vessel that runs off your circulatory system, meaning the mom's circulatory system, until you're 27 weeks along. Now, sometimes babies, they'll be born early, they can give them medicine and stuff and it'll work on its own, but it didn't. So I was in the hospital for 4 days or 5 days after I had him because I had a C-section. There were so many problems with my C-section too. When they took my staples out, it came wide open and I was like, what's happening? And they were like, sorry, we didn't take out all the fluid, so that's why it came open. And I'm like, well, aren't you going to sew me back up? And they're like, nope, sorry, it has to heal from the inside out. We'll have a doctor teach you how to pack it with gauze 3 times a day. Are you kidding me? Like, if things could not get worse right now. By the way, y'all, did I mention I'm 16? This is my 16th birthday. And I know you guys are like, well, you did this. I know. Okay. So anyway, so I go home. We're home one day and I get a call at 6 o'clock in the morning. Now his dad's already gone to work. So, and they're like, okay, this vessel is open and the medicine, he's not responding. So we have to do surgery. Basically, we have to do heart surgery. We're going to go in and we're going to close this vessel. Excuse me. And I said, okay, well, what happens if you don't? And they said, well, then the blood is going to fill up in his heart and his brain, everywhere. The blood's just going to pump throughout his body. It's going to fill up and he's going to die. And I was like, okay, well, let me call his dad right now, have him come. We're going to come there. And as soon as we get there, we'll sign the papers. You can do the surgery. And they said, no, we can't wait. You have to tell us right now over the phone if you give us permission or not, because he's not going to make it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I've just woken up to this after just having a baby too, like 6 days prior. So I'm like, obviously do it right now. So I call his dad. I'm like, get home now. We have to go to the hospital. So of course he turns around, comes right back. We go to the hospital. When we get there, he's already had the surgery, but he's like, basically at that point in an induced coma because they have to have him heal.
Mom?
So,
Mom?
Yes? My little one.
Rosie by me, so we're getting away Rosie.
Oh, okay.
We're giving to her, to a different.
No, we aren't. You just need to be nice. Okay, hey, go downstairs with
Yes,
Daddy.
we are.
Hey, I'm doing a video. Go downstairs with Daddy. So basically, like I said, they had to put him in an induced coma, and they went actually through his back. So they cut a little area, went into his heart, and put a staple basically on the end of this vessel. Like, so this is right after the surgery. He's so tiny. I mean, that was his dad's arm, but he's got tubes everywhere. Look at the hat was so big. They had to like tie it in a knot. So he was in this coma for about 3 weeks while they had him heal and stuff. And because he was in an induced coma, he got pneumonia. It was just, one thing after the other. Like this little kid, it was just crazy. So also because he was super early, his eyes were fused shut. So he happened to open them while we were there one day, which was amazing. So now this, you got to think, this is almost 20 years ago. We didn't have phones. We didn't have, well, probably some people if you had tons of money and stuff, but we didn't have like digital cameras and stuff. So when he first opened his eyes, I was like, oh my God, I had his dad run down to the gift shop and buy a disposable camera. It was like $26 or something, because you know how they're super crazy at the hospitals. But we took pictures, like I just took picture after picture after picture, and it's just him with his eyes opening. People would be like, why do you have the same picture? But to me, it was like, oh my God, the very first time that he opened his eyes and we were there. Like, when you're a preemie mom and things happen in the NICU, you miss out on a lot because you can't always be right there. So it was amazing. This is actually a really, really good picture that his grandma took. She had a really nice camera. And you can't really see him now. What they did too to keep him warm, basically, because that's one of the things is they have to keep their body temperature, is they cover him with saran wrap. Because they're on breathing tubes and stuff, and they don't have to worry about him suffocating. They're on a ventilation machine. They're not getting air from breathing it in. They're getting fake, oxygen. So they have him covered in saran wrap, but you can see he's holding my finger. And we had his little bear, that was his angel bear. And it had a necklace with a cross of Jesus on it, and stuff. And it was so cute though. I was like, I'm not going to get emotional when I do this, story. But even though I know, like, obviously he's okay. He's my son and I know, but it's still like crazy everything that, like we went through. So I love that picture though. It's so cute. Okay. So that was on the 11th, 12/11/98. So he was just a couple days old. That was actually right before the surgery. So now I will show you how small I know, sorry y'all, I know this is a long video, but I just want to tell you guys, like, there's a lot to show you guys. So okay, so 12/25/98, the first time I got to hold him. Now this is back when kangaroo care wasn't like around, like that wasn't a thing. People didn't really know, they didn't talk about that. However, in the NICU, like, people were just starting it. There were certain nurses who were amazing and who were like bringing it in and like, hey, these babies need this, and look at this is helping them. And that's exactly what they had me do. And I was 16. Like, y'all know when you're 16, things are different. Even though, like, yeah, I just had a baby, it's like things, and they were like, okay, take off your shirt, we're gonna have you sit here, we're gonna give you your baby. And I was like, okay. So this was the very first time I got to hold him, and you can see, like, oh, see, that's where they'd gone in and done his surgery. And I mean, you can see how tiny, that's his dad's hand on top of mine. But I mean, like, you can see how tiny he is. Obviously, he's on my chest. Like, that's my chest right there. And he's got his breathing tubes, his little arm. But, oh my goodness, he's so tiny. Oh, he was so tiny. So that was my very first time getting to hold him, which was awesome. The best Christmas present ever, by the way. Like, are you kidding me? That was amazing. So, and this one, I love it. I always say he looks like Walter Matthau in this picture from Grumpier Old Men, because now the nurses took this. Yes, see, this is back in the day when there was Polaroids. That's what we had, was Polaroids. So, but it says extubated, and that's when they first took out his breathing tube. But look at his little face. I was like, he looks so weird. Like, he had chunky cheeks, and he just looks so funny in that picture. But the nurses said extubated. Happy New Year, Christopher. See, 11/99. That was a good New Year too. He got his breathing machine off. So on the 9th, they transferred him to Santa Rosa. Those pictures are blurry. That was just basically them transferring. I'm sorry, y'all. And then I wanted to show you though, because I know I did get one. Okay, this one's super cute too. I'll show you. Sorry, guys. Okay, so you can see. Look at that. His foot is so tiny, tiny, tiny. Okay, y'all. Like, I'm trying to find. I know I had the one. There it is, but okay. This was when he very first opened his eyes. Do you see the little eyeball? Oh my goodness. And see, he's in his little incubator and he's got his breathing machine, but the little eyeball opened. And like I said, they were fused shut because they don't open until they're a certain, age. So it was like, his little eyeballs opened. It was so cute. And like I said, we were so glad that we were there when it happened. It was like, oh my goodness. Nowadays it wouldn't be anything. It'd be like, pull out your phone, no big deal. I think that's it. That is, now y'all, it's so cute. I'll show you. I didn't even realize this picture was in here. So as I've said, I have a heart problem that I was born with. Now, I lived in the hospital a lot when I was young, pretty much until I was like about 2. But here is a picture of me at Oakland Children's Hospital. And that's my grandma. It's so funny. Look at, that's how in the hospital there used to be like these metal stainless steel cribs that you would be in. I remember those cribs. Like, I remember those. It's crazy. but I didn't realize this was in here. So yeah, so Christopher was, you know, my little miracle baby. I was 16 years old. I went into labor on my 16th birthday and had him 5 days later on December 8th of 1998. And again, like I said, he was 2 pounds, 5 ounces. So imagine being not only, sorry, I keep up the table, not only being 16 and having a baby, first of all, I mean, that's like enough in itself, but having a preemie, a micro preemie baby, I was 25 weeks, 5 days along when he was born. And that, like I said, it was almost 20 years ago. So it's just crazy. I mean, nowadays I see that there's been babies that have been born. I want to say that there was a baby that was like 20 weeks or something. I might be wrong, but I know for sure that there was like a 23 week. Like, it's just crazy what they can do. It's just come so far, and it's just amazing. So he was my little miracle baby. When he came home from the hospital, thank God we had insurance, but I think we only paid total probably about $5,000 in copays, but his hospital bill total that I got was $975,000. So I told him he's my $1 million baby, because definitely, like I said, that was just till the day he came home. There was still multiple bills, you know, preemies have a whole lot of stuff even after they come home. So again, if you've seen the video that he did with me, you know he's amazing now. He graduated high school last year. He actually just moved out of the blue just a couple weeks ago. So he got a job, and he started his first job, and he's doing amazing. He is 19 years old. He'll be 20 in December, and you would never know that he was born that early and that he was only 2 pounds. So I hope you guys like that story. I know it was super long, but I thought I would share that with you guys. Let me know if you liked it and if you want me to do more story times. So again, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification so you never miss out. Give us a big thumbs up, drop a comment down below, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.